Happy Friday, everybody. It's Jim, it's Sean, and we have a guest coming with us. Crazy day yesterday in March Madness. There were some upsets, and today
another one.
we got a whole day planned, and it looks like Kennesaw State is playing some good hoops this morning. At least.
Oh, you got they're up by 13, and you got UC Santa Barbara, the 14 seed, up by 4 over Baylor with 6 minutes left in the first. So it's going to be a crazy day. The 12-5 game just started there in the West. So
all kinds of fun stuff. And we got our buddy Rick and ready to come on. So
we're gonna bring him in. Hey, there he is. Hey, I told everybody. They got to temper their expectations. Me and you, we're going to be watching the wrestling tonight, but I'm watching a little bit of it now. But everybody else will be watching these crazy basketball games. But
I wish we could bet wrestling live. 3 Penn State guys just came back in the third period when it looked like they were going to lose. You could have gotten great odds on that.
We talked about this yesterday. The Penn State wrestlers in the quarters and semifinals. It's just amazing what they do against higher seeds. They always win. It's crazy.
That's conditioning. They're just in better shape than anybody else. That's how you explain these third period comebacks.
Let me ask you guys the questions about wrestling. Okay. So back in the day, remember it used to be Iowa. So has Penn State supplanted Iowa as the king of college wrestling?
Totally. Iowa is way behind Penn State now. Penn State's going to win it this year, that'll be 10 national championships in the last 12 years. So that's not even close anymore.
Caleb Sanderson, it's all down. You could say, Caleb Sanderson, since he's come in, he's completely changed the program. So another New Jersey wrestler, Mecky Lewis, just got through here.
Yeah,
the Jersey wrestlers that Chris Foca just decked somebody.
Yeah.
These New Jersey wrestlers are just really, really showing up big time here at this tournament. So
what hurts is Rutgers isn't really getting these guys. Like focus for Cornell. Cornell seems to be getting a lot of the best New Jersey guys, and that really hurts Rutgers.
Yep.
Rutgers gets good ones, but they don't get the great ones.
You don't get the elite guys.
Yeah, but Penn State has always recruited well in New Jersey for every sport.
Yes. Yeah, Joe Paterno used to come in and get all kinds of good football players. Like Franco Harris from Ranco's Valley.
I remember telling somebody once when they said, well, who does the New York newspapers cover in college? And I said, they actually only cover 2 teams. And that is they cover Notre Dame and they cover Penn State.
Yeah.
And that was because Joe would come every year and he would go to the banquet and everybody would be, he was everybody's buddy.
Yeah, and he had a real pipeline in South Jersey.
Yeah.
South Jersey football.
Pennsylvania. Really, why would the New York Times and New York Daily News and New York Post have, guys at State College? Because Joe Paterno was.
Yep, that's very true.
So, yesterday, I know I guess we could go back to the playing games because you had I forget what day it was. You called me Monday or Tuesday, and these playing games were, I think, the first time maybe you tried this. What have you kind of been doing with these basketball games?
Okay, well, it's funny you're asking that because I just did it with Kennesaw. What I do is I like to put a small wager on the underdog and then just keep my eye out for a favorite that gets off to a bad start. And if that favorite, comes down from plus 200 to like even money or even on the plus side. And if you have a boost, you put some money on the favorite and now you have your guaranteed money because you're plus on both teams.
So when you bet did you take Xavier? Did you take Xavier in that Kennesaw game, or did you because Xavier's like plus 225 now, down 13.
Right. Yeah, I originally bet on Kennesaw, and now that Xavier's struggling, I put a little money there, so I got plus on both teams.
So you got Xavier at plus 225 right now, and I don't even know what Kennesaw was plus what at plus 400 or something, right?
Yeah, I think I got Xavier more like around plus 150. I haven't. It's a feel thing. You can't get too greedy and hope. But the whole idea is the favorite, even if they don't come back to win the game, they'll usually tighten it up, and quite often, the odds will swing sort of in your favor.
Well, that actually happened last night in both of those upset games.
Yes. Yeah, the only problem with the Princeton game, of course, is it happened so late they had shut it down.
And Princeton was trailing. Then they scored the last 6 points.
Right. Yeah, they shut it down there. But I did put a little money on Princeton. So I'd hit.
Yesterday Furman at halftime. We were talking, during the show. Furman at halftime was down about 5, and that Virginia line, Virginia was 6, but you saw Furman was in the game,
right? And
they were, whatever plus, they were still plus 200 or something like that. And this right now, UC Santa Barbara is up right now 31-29, and they're still plus 300 in this game against Baylor. And Baylor's minus 345.
Yeah, it's not a foolproof system, but I seem to be doing fairly well with it. You're just looking to get both teams at plus.
So why don't you guys go over, in case some of the folks watching don't understand in-game betting?
Yeah.
You give us a little in-game betting 101, guys.
Well, so right now, I mean, Kennesaw and Xavier, there's about 15 minutes to go, and Kennesaw State's up 51-38, right? Mm-hmm. So they're up by 13. This is a 3-14 game here, right?
Sure.
Right now on the live, I'm watching the odds right now. Xavier is now plus 290, right? And as a 3 seed. So, if you think Xavier is going to get back into this game, which, you already bet Kennesaw State before the game, right?
Yes.
So he took Kennesaw State at plus whatever 300 before the game. So now, if Xavier does get back, and if Xavier comes back and wins it, and you put whatever 20, if you put an even 20 on both, you're guaranteed to win 2.5 times your money, because you got one at 300 and one at plus 290. And, maybe Xavier doesn't come back and win it, but, if they do, now it's 51-40 all of a sudden. Now it's 51-40 all of a sudden, the odds just dropped to plus 205. So just like that one basket, the odds went from plus 290 to plus 205.
Right.
So,
and see, in basketball, you get these real changes in the odds. It's not, some sports aren't like that. Like Sean would know, is in soccer. If there's no scoring, the odds don't change that much. But basketball, you have these runs where the odds just bounce all over the place.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because so Kennesaw State just scored the next basket. Now it's back up to plus 280.
So it's almost like watching the stock market.
Well, yes. That's what it is. And we were talking about this. That guy that was on Jeopardy that won like 72 times in a row, James whatever. That's how he made all his money. He would sit there and watch these games live, and you'd see, so now Xavier scores the next basket. It's 53-42, down to plus 225. So, they score, you can do that where, you can. I always say with, live betting, especially soccer and stuff like you have to you have to know what's going on. Like you can't be distracted or whatever, doing what soccer. I always say, if you're watching the game, you can see kind of it's 2-0 teams down, but they're dominating sometimes. The Manchester United's done that. With this basketball, you don't necessarily. I don't even think you necessarily need to be watching it, but you need to be watching like you need to be paying attention and watching what the odds are doing, because just like I said, like these odds drop. You know, it's plus 310 Xavier right now. If Xavier scores the next basket, maybe then it goes to plus 200. Well, that's a huge difference. You know, if Xavier comes back and wins it, you know, the difference between plus 310 and plus 200 is huge. Oh,
Right.
you know, and this adds up over the course of the year. And then, you know, Rick has been doing some stuff with you know, the DraftKings, and I think has been giving out a lot of these live play bonuses, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. If you can get an odds boost, that's even better, because you put the boost on one of those teams, and now you're not only guaranteed to win, but it just increased your profits.
Yeah, if you get a 25% profit boost, which some of these states are doing during the tournaments, I mean, you know, the live betting, and now I think in New Jersey, it's close to like 70% of the wagers are live.
Right.
That's where most of the money is coming in now. So if you get if you get Xavier at plus 300 and then get a 25% profit boost, now all of a sudden it's plus 360, plus 3. I mean, that you're starting to talk about, you know, and this isn't throwing around, you know, $100 a bet. You know, if you're putting $30 down a bet, all of a sudden, you know, you're making $120 on, you know, $115, and you laid out 20 on the other way. You know, you're plus 110 for a game for minimal odds, or for minimal layout here. So, you know, I know some people will, you know, some people do it for $5, some people do it for whatever, but it's just an interesting way to do it. And these games, you know, basketball seems to be the one that's most conducive to it. You know, tomorrow night there's 8 NBA, or tomorrow during the day there's 8 NBA games. So these things are all up. I think, you know, we're talking about this too. I think it could work in baseball too. You know, if the Yankees are a heavy favorite against the you know, the
Twins
or Pittsburgh or whoever, and then all of a sudden the Twins come out and go up 5-0 after a half an inning at you know, in Yankee Stadium. Well, man, you know, these things are gonna, the line's gonna shift, but you know, but the Yankees didn't even bat yet, so you know, you might get the Yankees now. All of a sudden, the Yankees against the Twins was minus 250. Now they might be plus money, and they haven't even batted yet. So,
yeah, the one area where doesn't come into play at all is when a favorite just comes out and just dominates from start to finish. Then this whole system is irrelevant, because you know the odds are never going to be where you need them to be. But you just trying to find a favorite that's getting off to a bad start. That's what I do.
And there's enough of that, you know, when you start doing these days when there's, you know, 8 games or 16 games,
right,
basketball, and then when there's about to hit Michigan State and under. Bill, you know, that was a good play. I think these the Pac-12 teams not looking real great early on here. So,
well, you said it right. A lot of times I'm not even watching the games. In fact, I'm watching the wrestling now, but I'm keeping my eye on the odds. You know, you don't have to actually watch the game itself. You know, just all you're looking for is the numbers.
Let me ask you, you're talking about the ability to translate this possibly into baseball. Would that be like, let's say, you know, like you've got Jacob deGrom pitching, right? And for some reason he gives up 2 runs in the first inning. When you thought, you know, it's deGrom, he only usually gives up 2 runs in a game. Does that change the paradigm, the odds, and how it goes?
Yes, it does. I mean, but as I say, there are lots of things to consider. Say the Yankees get down 5-0, but you know, all of a sudden the other teams in the odds are pretty good for the other team, but you got to look at who the other team pitchers is. If you don't think he's very good, you're thinking the Yankees might explode right back. So yeah, there are variables. You got to think.
I think this works. I think this works well. I think it could work well in baseball when there, you know, when there's a good team. You know, you have a good team, the Dodgers or something like that, and you look, and all of a sudden it's the second inning and they're down like, you know, 4-0 or something. And you're like, oh wow, you know, maybe maybe it's not going to be able to come back. And, or you think, if it's a bad team, maybe, they won't come back. But these teams are good. Even the best teams lose 40% of the games. Only one pitcher any soccer plays today. Yeah, I think for baseball, it could work. Like I said, I think of the Yankees or a team like Dodgers or the Padres get down early in a game. So,
I think basketball really is the best for this because
yes,
basketball is a game of runs. I mean, teams will go on 8-0 runs all the time against each other. It's just the momentum swings back and forth, and so do the odds. I'm not sure other sports it's quite that dramatic.
Yeah. Bill, I don't really love this slate today. To be honest, Newcastle minus 186 at Nottingham Forest. I don't love that at all. I think Nottingham Forest is really good at home. I don't really like the game. Newcastle hasn't been scoring. Tomorrow, I like Tottenham a lot against Southampton. I think Southampton stinks. I like Napoli here to go to. Napoli is minus or plus 350 now to win the Champions League. They have a pretty good draw. So, I like them.
I haven't seen the draw. Who did City get?
City got Bayern Munich.
Oh, boy.
City got really a great draw. So City got what's the draw? Benfica. You got Inter and City got Bayern. Those are the first two games on April 11th. Real Madrid got Chelsea again, and Milan's playing Napoli. But Milan, Napoli, Benfica, and Inter are all on the same side of the bracket. Manchester City, Bayern, Real Madrid, Chelsea are on the other side. So to me, probably Napoli gets to a final, but it could be Benfica in a final. It could be Inter and AC Milan in the second final. Napoli, to me, by far is the strongest team, and that's why their odds went down to plus 350 to win the tournament because they should walk to the final. City's got to beat Bayern over 2 legs and then probably beat Real Madrid over 2 legs just to get to a final where they probably play Napoli. So if City does go on and win, it'll be one of the better Champions League wins that I can remember. Obviously Real Madrid last year when they beat PSG, Chelsea, Manchester City, and Liverpool on the way to the title. And the Europa League is interesting. You got Feyenoord got Roma, and the winner of that will play Leverkusen and Union Saint-Gilloise. Juventus got Sporting, and the winner of that will play Manchester United and Sevilla. So this is already Manchester United. Manchester United will have played more games against Spanish teams this year than half of La Liga. They played They played Real Sociedad in the group stage. They played Barcelona and beat them. They played Real and beat them, and now they got to go back to Sevilla and play Sevilla. They just were there against Betis. So, but it could set up for a Manchester United Roma, Jose Mourinho, and against United final. So we'll see. Pretty interesting.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go back to my wrestling, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm watching the top. You don't get a lot of Northern Iowa kids seated first here. So, but yeah, definitely. If you want to come on next week and go through it.
Yeah, well, that'd be great.
Yeah, anytime. And I'll keep
Well,
trying.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
Have a nice weekend. Oh,
All right. He wanted to. I don't know, Bill. I hope you got some of that because he's been calling me and talking to me about this a little bit, and he's been pretty good with that.
And right more than wrong. I think Rick is doesn't matter. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, it's interesting. It was like, as I said, it's like watching the stock market. Who goes up, who goes down.
It's what when he originally called me, they give these boosts for the tournament. And he said, listen, what if I do this? What if I play, the underdog? And look, it's obviously not going to work in a game. I think you have to be a little bit, I don't even know if I would have taken it in this Kennesaw game. Kennesaw's up by 13. In a game like Pittsburgh and Iowa State, we'll say, Pittsburgh's the 11 seed or North Carolina State's the 11 seed. And you say, what, I'm going to put $20 on Pittsburgh at, let me see what their odds are. So Pittsburgh's plus 160, NC State's plus 190. I'll do NC State. So you say, I'm going to put $20 on NC State at plus 190. And then, right off the, after the first 5 minutes, it's Pittsburgh, 17-6, 17-8. They get out to a hot start. Now all of a sudden these odds change. Well, Iowa State's going to be plus money at that point. Maybe they're plus. It's still early, but you see how these odds bounce around. It's just from watching. They're up and down 100 points. Xavier right now is plus 325. So maybe Creighton goes to a plus 190. Well, now you got both teams at plus 190. So it doesn't really matter at that point who wins because you're guaranteed, 70 cents of value. So, Xavier's done. They're not coming back from that. I thought UCSB was a pretty good bet on the money line there, but it's about maybe it's about you just guaranteed yourself a profit, a decent profit. If you're betting $100, at plus 190, you're going to get 290 back. Well, then you do it again, and the other team goes to plus 190. So you lose that 100, but you're up. You got plus 190, so you made $90. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're up $90. So you're up basically, plus 100. I mean, that's a decent amount of money, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins the game at that point because you have both sides at plus 190. So, if you can do that, and look, he said like sometimes you bet on NC State at plus 190, and all of a sudden, they get down 20-2. Well, your bet's dead. Probably. Right. They could come back, but you can't go the other way. So I think, it's a little bit of strategy there. Maybe, you got Iona at plus 320. Maybe you put a couple bucks on Iona and hope you kind of get off to a slow start. They probably won't, but there's enough games that you can do that. So I think that's interesting. Yeah. I grab the points after one team makes a run a lot in the NBA. Yeah, that's what he does. And, I think it's really conducive to basketball and probably baseball. But baseball, once again, it has to be in limited spots. You have to target, if you're sitting there, you're watching whatever, and all of a sudden the Yankees are down 5-0 after half an inning, look, the Yankees are going to get back into it. They might, sometimes they'll lose, but, a lot of times they might win. So you get the Yankees who were maybe minus 200 before the game. You're getting them at plus money. So it's an interesting
deal.
Yeah. It's interesting. I know, some people just want to win their bets and some people want to guarantee themselves money. So, when you bet, I have futures now on Real Madrid and Napoli in the Champions League and Manchester United in the Europa League. I have Arsenal in the Premier League. So, if it gets down to it, if it gets close, maybe I hedge a little bit and say maybe put a little money on Manchester City or in a game. So I just think it's an interesting way to do it. And the thing is, like, for as many people as we could have on here, there'd be as many different ways to do.
Right. Different systems. Everybody's got a system.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And that's the best thing about it.
Do you have one? Do you play by a system, or do you play? Is it? I mean,
I
there's
do.
a lot of people that say that they have a system, and then others who say, well, they kind of have a gut thing. Gut things have never. That to me is always a little more dangerous.
Yeah, gut stuff is tough, I think. I have what I like to do is there's the writer kid. What I like to do is with soccer specifically, Xavier's down 8 now. I will find 2 or 3 favorites and put them in a parlay. 2 or 3 heavy favorites, like for let me give you an example here.
Is it as easy to do in soccer as he explained in football? I'm sorry, in basketball.
I think it's tougher to do. I think there's spots you can do this in soccer when a team goes down 2-0 or something like this. Like this weekend, Arsenal's a heavy favorite against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace just fired their coach, so maybe you take Arsenal. Maybe at minus 420. You got FA Cup. Manchester City is minus 560, so that's minus 220 so far. Messi just left practice, so I'm not going to take PSG. He said the coach is an idiot and walked out. So I'm going to stay away from that game, to be honest. You got the Clasico, so I'll stay away from La Liga. There's really no other games that I want to take there. Maybe let me take a look at the championship. So then you got Middlesbrough against PNE minus 190. So now if I got Arsenal at minus 420, Manchester City at minus 560, and Middlesbrough at minus 190, if in a parlay, it's plus 130. So, if all 3 of those teams win and they're heavy favorites, Middlesbrough's not as much, but I know they're pretty good. Then you can make some money, and even if you put a minus 250 team in there instead of a minus 190, it's still going to be plus money. So, you're dependent upon 3 really good teams winning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, how often do minus 560 teams lose? So
not often. Or they wouldn't be minus 560.
Yeah, look, I mean, I only do it specifically with certain teams. Like, I'm not going to do it if it's like, obviously, Crystal Palace, and that would be 560 against anybody. But I'm looking for, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Arsenal, obviously this year. But, we'll see. They just lost, they got knocked out by Sporting, so they're not great. Benfica in the league, Porto in the league, Ajax in the league, Feyenoord in the league. Some of those teams we talk about sometimes and we laugh about, like Cluj and stuff like that. When those teams are playing in the league, if you put 2 or 3 of those teams together, usually it's like 3. They don't lose a lot of matches. Mm-hmm. So, the odds are they're going to lose. They're all going to, if they're winning 30 games a season or 20, 26 games a season and only losing 3, well, if you do that enough, you probably win some money.
So there you go. That's not a bad situation by any stretch of imagination. We got, let's see, what do we got here? Halftime score. Baylor 35. University of California, Santa Barbara, 36-35. They're leading. St. Mary's and VCU, close game, 17-16. That's early. Actually, that isn't early. That's midway through the first half. Got 6 minutes left to go. Kennesaw State 61-57 over Xavier.
Is that 61-57 now?
60. I'm sorry. What?
What's that score now?
Kennesaw State 61, Xavier 57.
9. Yeah, Xavier's all of a see. Now, if you took Xavier at plus 350 when they were down, all of a sudden now, when you look at the lines now, let me just take a look at that.
Michigan State beat SC, so the pack is
Xavier tied it up and it's minus 225 now. So they're minus 240. So they went from they're minus 265. So they went from plus 340 to minus 250. By going on a 10-0 run. Yep.
Wow. The what did I say? Vermont and Marquette and Pittsburgh and Iowa State are up next. I got Vermont, the Catamounts, have always been a good tournament team. And for some reason, 15 seems really undervaluing them.
Yeah, I think the seeding wasn't great this year, to be honest. I think there was a few teams that I thought were really seeded. Seeded not right. So Xavier now minus 360. So from plus 360 to minus 360, and the game, the score is still the same. Plus,
right,
61-61 with Kennesaw timeout. They'll I'm sure they'll go on and win this, but there you go. I mean, that's the right there. And now Kennesaw is plus 460. Xavier's minus 715 now. They took the lead on the free throw. So now all of a sudden, I probably take Kennesaw at plus 400, plus 470. If you grab Xavier at whatever price, you just try to, that's the thing. And now, yeah, Duke was, I thought, Duke they're just too talented, to be honest. They're a talented team.
Well, yeah, but they've got the depth, and that's when you're in a tournament. If you can go to, they're taking 5-star players off the bench. So that's, for what that's worth.
Oh, takedown for Ryder. There we go. Laird is in the semifinals.
Not yet. 3-2.
Oh, maybe not. He got escaped.
Gives a little fire plug.
So it brings up to speed on the wrestling. This is scoring.
Yeah, it's the Ryder kid, Ethan, where we just taped our show today. He's up 3-2 in the third at 197 against the 12 seed Bronigal from Illinois. It just has to see out this last 15 seconds, and he's in a semifinal. Ryder's only had one finalist ever. Laird's going to be wrestling tonight. He's in the semis. No, I think he got taken down. So they have instant. They have challenges on this. They have coaches challenges, so they're gonna find out. It was close. He might have gotten taken down at the buzzer. These guys, these 197 pounders, they're monsters. They're just, probably outside of wrestling, they're probably weigh about 220. So we'll see. He might have gotten taken down. I think he got a little lax there. So they go on the phone and they call somebody somewhere else, and they say, "Was it a takedown?"
Do they have somebody like in the press box area, or how does that work?
I think there's somebody somewhere that's like
in the building.
off the floor. Yeah, looking at the replay.
Red, green.
So the guys, it's because the match is over, and they're just trying to figure out. Xavier up 63-61 now.
Jeez.
So they're up by trying to figure out. There's all kinds of coaches challenges going here. These are the big guys. 190, 197. We got an overtime match. Rick is probably writing about this stuff. So Rick writes for the Trentonian, and he covers wrestling.
For the what?
He's got one of his guys out there at the match, getting them quotes and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, college wrestling has always been a very fascinating deal.
The 2 seed gets beat by the 7 seed in overtime.
Well, there you go. So who won that match?
Yeah, Cal Poly.
Cal Poly's the kid that lost. Tanner Sloan from San Diego State. So San Diego State beat Cal Poly in the semifinal there. Truax. So wrestling is an interesting college sport. There, it's pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
Around here. The Ivies. It's big in the Ivies. Obviously, Big Ten. Midwest, and then it's out west. San Diego State has a program.
Mm-hmm.
All the Iowas, but the Cal Polys, it's big in California. Stanford still has the program. So, and then there's just a big gap, like where they just don't have it. So it's pretty interesting.
And it's got. I mean, the other thing from what was I going to say? I thought I actually knew some kids who got a scholarship to Wisconsin to go out there and wrestle in the Big Ten. So, and Penn State, of course, is a Big Ten school. So
yeah,
it's Big Ten.
Yep, it's kind of amazing. It's a sport that it's sometimes it's at the youth level it's crazy. I think it's dying at some levels, but it's anybody that's ever wrestled and is part of it. I mean, it's like lifetime. Teaches you goals for your lifetime and teaches you life lessons and stuff. It's just 1v1 and wrestling through pain and just trying to condition all this stuff. I mean, it's pretty it's just it's a pretty interesting sport, and some people like it, some people don't.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, when you say wrestling, they have this bizarre thought that that it's like WWE, which is crazy. It's not anywhere near that.
Yeah, it's kind
of hard to explain the scoring is as well.
Yeah, it's a little different than in college. There's 4-point back points. There's different things. But it's I wrestled in high school, so I tutor. The people that I tutor are big wrestling families, so I'm always around it. And once again, I'm gonna go tutor. After this at 4:00, and I'm gonna make sure I'm home and kind of sitting. I think it starts at 8:00 tonight. I think the next the semis. It's really cool. They'll have the matches are going at the same time, both semis, so they'll have the split screen. Here there's 4 matches going at once. So the ESPN Plus and online and thing and Flow Wrestling, you can watch all this stuff anywhere, but it's pretty cool. I kind of, it's one of these things where it's almost like a Manchester United game. Listen, I'm clearing my schedule. I just want to make sure I'm home watching it. The like the basketball, I mean, I just, there's just so many games today. Like there's so many games today and so many games tomorrow. The craziest stat I always say is, from Thursday to Sunday, by the time you get to the first weekend, 80% of the tournament's already gone. They played the first four and then, 75% of the other games. There's only 16 teams left. So, after this weekend, Thursday there's 4 games. Friday there's 4 games. Saturday there's 2. Sunday there's 2, and then you only got 4 teams left. So it's pretty it's crazy the way it goes.
So
We got an Air Force person in the quarterfinals here. So that's interesting. I always like to see the service kids do well.
Yeah.
Because
what do you think? I would think they would have a very very strong team.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, because that's kind of hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's, I think, I don't know if they brought it back. It's pretty like it's pretty cool because there's some, Arizona State's got a program, and because they had, some kids out there that were really good for a few years. Some champions, Cal Poly, the Southwest, it's pretty big out there. I mean, look, these kids, they go to these tournaments around. This is in Tulsa. I mean, it's massive. Iowa, Oklahoma,
right.
Missouri. It's like you can't even. It's just massive. They have these tournaments for youth, and it's just. There's every kid from America is there. It's pretty cool.
So that's
Xavier's gonna get it here. Oh, it's tied. Tie score. I have to check maybe. Vermont Marquette. I don't know what channel it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's True TV. I don't even know what channel that is at my parents' house.
There's a good app. It's the March Madness app, and it has all the games there. It's very simple to follow.
I used to like that one because wow, look at that shot. Kennesaw State's back up. 2 minutes to go. They didn't score. Kennesaw State didn't score for 8 minutes. That's what happens in these games. You get you don't score for 8 minutes, you're in trouble. All of a sudden a 13-point lead becomes a deficit. So, but they, made a shot when they had to. So
that's what counts.
See what the odds are now. Now that they have the lead. So Xavier's still minus 155. Baylor now is up 46-41. So they're only up by 5 points. They're minus 11-15. So, yeah, it's amazing how these, St. Mary's up by 2, minus 315. Lovely win for Fenerbahce. Yeah, Sevilla, Foxy is, they're going back to stay at the same hotel. They're just there. I think, people were talking about how Roma's draw was lucky, and I just don't see that. I think that Feyenoord team is good.
Mm-hmm.
And Foxy, Napoli now at plus 350 to win. I think they have a really, really good draw. I think Xavier knocks down a 3, go back up by 2. I think Napoli has a really, really a dream draw. I think Manchester City's going to get knocked here in one of these next 2 rounds. So Pep might never win a Champions League with Manchester City. I don't even know how that ball went in. Like bounced from one guy to the other.
I saw one last night where the ball bounced off a guy's shoulder.
Nice cut. Oh, he missed the layup. Xavier missed the layup. Wow. Roma. I don't think Roma's getting out of the next round, to be honest. I think Feyenoord beats him. There's no way Jose's beating United.
Is that who they play next time?
Oh, he missed the layup too. No, they play Feyenoord, and then if they win that, they play the winner of Leverkusen and U.S. Union Saint-Gilloise. Foxy, watch out for that Union Saint-Gilloise team. That kid is lighting it up for them. The Nigerian kid, the other Osimhen, what's his name? Boniface.
Bonifacio.
Yeah, it's they're out for revenge this year. 2 legs too. That's different. I think this Feyenoord team is legit. I think they're really good. They play up tempo. We'll see. I think Roma probably is the favorite in it. Let's see here. Roma to advance. I don't give it. Roma's second choice plus 5. No, Roma's third choice. Juventus and Roma both plus 500. Leverkusen plus 700. Sporting plus 850. I think you got to watch out for Sporting a little bit. They're pretty tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. They're not giving Feyenoord much of a chance against Roma, so we'll see. 2 missed layups on either end. Each team had a chance to go ahead and didn't. We shall see what happens. I get the ball in. Oh, what a block. Oh, he called the foul. I think that was a good call. Fouled out. I think that was a good call. He got the block. And doing the back cut, he blocked it. I think he got him. Yeah, a good call. Yeah, you can't swing like that,
Let me take a quick look at the scoreboard. Okay. 18 seconds left. Xavier and Kennesaw tied.
Chris Youngbug just fouled out for Kennesaw State. Yeah, Foxy. I think Arsenal lost that, to be honest, in the first leg. I thought they should have maybe taken that a little. I think you take the first leg a little more seriously, maybe, and Xavier makes the first. Then maybe you go to the second leg with a lead. But I think he kind of underestimated that, and now look, if Arsenal missed the second, Kennesaw State with a chance to win it. If Arsenal blows the Premier League now, does this season go down as obviously it's a little kind of a success because they're back in the Champions League. But if they blow the Premier League now, it's a debacle for them. And Manchester City is plus 125 here. to win the Premier League. I might take a shot on them at this point now. Seeing a timeout here. Bengals offensive tackle Jonah Williams seeks an exit. They're looking at something. I don't know what they're looking at. Interesting. I don't know what. Oh, Rob Riley, my guy. Rob Riley, my guy's reffing the game. How about that?
There you go.
All right.
Should wave to you. So what's the verdict? What's going on?
12. Trying to figure out how much time's left. Before the start of the season, you'd say Arsenal second is a very successful season. Right now, 1 game a week until the end of the season. Second will be a big disappointment. 100%. I agree 100%. No trophies in second place. Man, that would be a disaster. 13.6 left.
There you go.
And any shot wins it. 2 or 3. So yeah, I don't know about that. I think you just got to try to run your offense and get a shot. I don't care when it goes in. They're saying shoot it quickly because if you miss, then you get fouled. You know, why you want to give them time to get back in it?
Get a shot. I mean, if the shot's there, yeah, take it. But
oh, what a block. What a block. Xavier's going to win. It was a basket. He had a clear basket. Oh, what a block that is. What a block. He averages 1 block a game. And that was it. It was going in.
It's a good time to get it.
Now it's 1.6 left, so Xavier's going to win. Wow. No foul. Could have been a foul there, I guess. 2.4.
So they're up by how much?
They're up by 1 going to the free throw line with maybe 2.4 seconds left. What a block that is. That's an unbelievable play. It's going in, and they're going to win the game. And this guy comes out of nowhere, the big center.
And swats it.
Yeah, and this is the type of game now. If Xavier goes on to win this, you'll say, oh, they struggle. It doesn't matter in this tournament. You just win the game.
And move on.
They're saying maybe that was a foul. Yeah, no, it just matters. Only matters. The only thing. What's some good basketball plays over the weekend? Cheltenham races finished. So you got what do you got tonight? Tomorrow, Foxy, I love Kansas tomorrow. They're like 3.5. I don't understand why the line is that small. Xavier up 3, 2.6. You're almost better missing that though, because then you got a chance. So now they can set up a play. Tonight, Indiana, Kent State. Hey, I like Kent State a little bit. Tomorrow you got Duke. I think, is a good play. Kansas is a good play. Stay away from those later games, to be honest. And then Sunday, obviously, it will depend on today. So, tonight, if you want to bet something tonight or later in the day here, you could do Rick's system and wait a little bit to see what goes on. Maybe Kentucky Providence could be an interesting game, but I think tomorrow is the I would target Duke and Kansas. We'll see here. Stepped out of bounds.
That's unfortunate.
Yep, Rob Riley right on top of it.
Here's your man.
Yep. It wasn't a great pass anyway. So those are the ones, I like Tottenham tomorrow.
Tottenham tomorrow, and anything else?
I think that's about it. I don't really love the games tomorrow in the Premier League. Maybe Aston Villa. And then and I don't know about that Chelsea. Chelsea's playing Everton. I think that's a little bit too high. Arsenal probably has a pretty good response. Crystal Palace has no manager. So I would say Foxy, probably Kansas tomorrow and maybe Duke, and maybe see what Bill says. So.
Well, let's look. Let me look here for a second.
I go mobile here.
Go mobile.
Gotta make some.
You're going on remote.
Going on walkabout.
Yeah, we enjoyed your walking tours of Barcelona and Manchester.
I'm gonna, maybe be going back there. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get back over there for the games, for the next couple sets of games here.
That would be really nice.
Definitely.
It would be very nice. Let's see real quick. Gonzaga Grand Canyon. Miami set up to fail. I don't know if they will.
I think I like Drake in that game. Yeah, no, I do. I think the ACC stinks. I think that
You like Kent State or Indiana?
Yeah, I do. I think Kent State could win that outright.
Yeah. Arizona State, TCU. That's she's.
That's an interesting game. I think.
Rock fight. I don't think those guys are good. Yeah, tomorrow. Well, that Duke Tennessee game should be good.
Yeah, Tennessee's a little banged up, so I
like Furman, San Diego State. That's a good game.
Yeah, the two early games. I like San Diego State there.
I think could beat Missouri.
Yeah, no. Over in the Gonzaga game, Bill likes tonight, Foxy. So jump on that if you want one.
Penn State, Texas. That should be interesting. Auburn, Houston. I think the dog likes Houston. I can tell. Okay.
We could do the thing with the dog, like the octopus.
Right.
Okay.
Who do you like?
Right.
Leia. Who you like? Gonzaga? Over?
Doesn't like Gonzaga. Not a fan.
Not a fan of Gonzaga. All right, there you go. You heard it here first.
Did or didn't. Yeah. So, all right. Well, any last words here before we hit the top of the hour?
Oh no, I'm gonna watch some of these.
Over, Bill Lexi over in Gonzaga game.
Yep. I think that's interesting game.
Yeah, Bill. I mean, you know, they're going to score a lot of points. There's no doubt about that. No question. All right, boys. We will have a lovely day. Nice weekend. Hope that you all enjoyed the tournament and the soccer and whatever else you might want to see over the weekend. Let's go Newcastle. Missing a few through injury.
Yeah, Foxy, I think that's a tough game for you today. You know, I mean, Nottingham Forest is very good at home. If you I think if you can win that, you'll be in good shape going forward. So
there you go. All right. Well, Professor and I will be back on Monday, and hope that you guys have a winning weekend. Okay. Till then, take care, and we'll see ya.